What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another page from the playbook. This is Nate coming at you guys with another entry into the 32 NFL offseasons in 32 days series. Today's team, one of the final four teams from last year. We're talking the Detroit Lions, baby. Before we get into today's video, guys, I just want to give a special shout out to today's sponsors, starting with Gold Fine and Bowles, lawyers for the injured. Personal injury, workers' compensation, those are their two things, but any sort of legal advice, they're the people to call. Give them a phone call, 309-673-5144. Tell them we sent you, okay? And I'd also like to shout out SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video as well. Use promo code PlaybookSports on their website to get $20 off your first purchase of $30 or more. Let's get back to the video. What a run last year from the Lions, behind Jared Goff's continued resurgence in the league and the continued development of drafted players. Lions have drafted so well, and all their players have just really stepped up. It's been very fun to watch. Sadly, that magical kind of run ended in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers, which led Dan Campbell to kind of make a weird quote where he's like, I really felt like this was our best shot this year. It's like, oh, buddy, you guys are a young team. Don't say that. You want confidence. Confidence. Come on, this was your first playoff appearance. You can do it again. Let's go. I really do think that the Lions have a lot to look forward to, regardless of what Dan Campbell seems to think. And I also think they went above and beyond this offseason to make sure that they don't take any steps backwards, especially when they're trying to hunt down that first Super Bowl appearance, let alone Super Bowl victory. Let's talk about this offseason. No coaching changes so far. Honestly, it says a ton about the culture that the Detroit Lions are building that Ben Johnson hasn't taken a head coaching job yet. He'd rather stay in Detroit, see this thing through, see some success before he were to leave. He has been a hot head coaching candidate for the last 2 years. He has been instrumental in turning around Jared Goff's career, and that offense hums. And he has chose to stay there. I love that. It's very similar to Eric Bieniemy, just always staying in for the Chiefs, never going on. I just think Ben Johnson has chosen also to stay there, and that speaks a lot to their culture, so I like that a lot. Free agency losses. Let's talk players lost, players added for the Detroit Lions. Lions did lose offensive guard Jonah Jackson, one of their starting linemen, in free agency. They also lost starting safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And they did release starting corner Cameron Sutton, who was super disappointing. Get him off the books immediately. I actually am okay with that. He struggled last year. So when we look at what we need to replace in free agency, you got to replace a safety in C.J. Gardner-Johnson and an offensive guard. This offseason, the Lions have made signing their own players priority number one. I love that. I love that. I love that. Penei Sewell signed to a 4-year, $112 million contract, making him the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history. Absolutely love that for him. Absolutely love him as a player. I was banging the table for him in 2021. I love Jalen Waddle. I would have really loved Penei Sewell, man. I loved him coming out of Oregon. What a star. Deserves to be the highest paid tackle in the NFL. And then they also extended number one wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, Goff's favorite target, to a 4-year, $120,010,000 contract. I don't know if they added that in there just for grins. I mean, I don't know why, but that is what it is. It's $120 million and $10,000 in there as well. Okay, that's interesting, but whatever. Either way, makes him the number 2 highest paid wide receiver in annual salary, just behind A.J. Brown. I love that signing as well. Amon-Ra has been unbelievably reliable for them, an absolute stud, and they locked him down before Jamar Chase got his, before Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle got theirs, just locked him in quick. I love that for them. Very, very savvy on their part. And then just recently, they did the big one. Jared Goff, 4 years, $212 million extension. Just those 3 contracts alone, the Lions committed $444 million in contracts. That's crazy. That is insane money. And I love it. It just goes to show you they are all in on this nucleus, this tackle, this receiver, this QB. These guys are our future right here. And so they have just committed to making them top dollar. And I like the Jared Goff extension. He's played great for them. Straight up. Played great for them. Smart to get him locked down. At $53 million a year is expensive, but I like it. I think it was smart. That's what quarterbacks are going for. If you don't want your quarterback to be paid $50 million, you should be prepared to have bad quarterback play or a rookie. That's the only way you're going to get a quarterback under this cost, because that's what they're going for. So accept that. You need to accept that. That they weren't done.
by spending $444 million. No, they're just getting started. They also brought in Kevin Zeitler, who will start day one for them. He's an upgrade over Jonah Jackson straight away. Great signing here. Love that pickup for them. And then they went and brought in defensive tackle DJ Reader, who will also immediately start for them on the defensive line. A stud defensive tackle. He feels like a Detroit Lion. I love that addition. I also love the addition of Marcus Davenport to be a pass rusher for them, opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. So now your defensive line has 3 studs on it. I believe in Marcus Davenport. I think he can be really solid. He'll get a lot of one-on-ones because Reader and Hutchinson will eat up double teams. He's going to get a lot of one-on-ones with whatever tackle he's going up against, and I like him in that role. And then I do like the addition of Carlton Davis on a 1-year deal. Kind of a weird contract, though, from Brad Holmes here, where it's a 4 void years at the end of it. So it's 1 year for this amount, but then 4 more years added to the end of it. So that way it spreads out the cap space. It's just kind of interesting to see that. You don't see it very often, but I noticed that today on SpotTrack.com. So interesting. But you got to do what you got to do. So Lions locked up their own, brought in at least 2 new starters. I would say 3, maybe 4 new starters. And so then what else did they do? Well, let's talk about their draft. I love the first round move of jumping over the Packers, who I think they were going to take him. I think they were going to take Terrion Arnold. Lions said, no, we're jumping you. We're taking him. Love that for them. Surprised he fell as far as he did. Honestly, surprised all the corners fell as far as they did, with the first one coming off the board at pick 23, 22, 20 to the Eagles. And a lot of people had Terrion Arnold as CB1 in this class, and you can argue that. Absolutely. Him or Quinyon Mitchell, I think you could argue that. Lions needed a ton of help in the secondary, and I think that was perfect for them. Terrion Arnold kind of embodies Detroit. He's a super physical corner. He will play right away. Maybe he fell because of his speed. I know that there's like this weird correlation and weird hit rate on corners who run slower than 4.5 in the 40, struggling in the NFL. So he doesn't have that long speed, but he's super physical. He reminds me of L'Jarius Sneed. He's going to slam you at the line, and you're going to have to get off of his press if you want to get open. And if you run a timing-based offense where a receiver needs to be at this point, at this time, they are going to struggle against Terrion Arnold. So I really like that pick. And then I'm a fan of their second-round pick, Ennis Rakestraw Jr. out of Missouri. While I did not like him as a first-round guy, everyone was saying, oh, he might go at the end of the first round. Not for me. Way too rich for my blood. Like him a lot as a second-round guy, especially an end of the second-round guy. Damn near a third-rounder. That's a great pick for them. I think they could play him at safety if they wanted to. He'd be just a fine safety. He's very similar stylistically to Terrion Arnold. Again, not the fastest guy. Slower than 4.5. So if that rings true, then they're in trouble, right? If both their corners suck because they didn't run a 4.5 or under 40, which is nonsense, but there's a weird hit rate. Look it up. It's like an insane percentage of these corners who run slower than that struggle. It's weird. But Rakestraw, super physical, a heavy hitter, loves to hit. He's a kneecap biting corner. Really like Ennis Rakestraw here, especially at this pick. I like Mekhi Wingo in the 6th round. Couple of 6th-round picks I want to talk about. Mekhi Wingo, good tools, good rotational piece early. Also can get a pretty good pass rush from the interior. He's not going to play much of a factor in the run game. He's just not. However, he can get home as a pass rusher, as an interior defensive lineman, something the Lions were missing. Give him a chance to learn from DJ Reader. I like that a lot. And then a home run pick in the 6th round of Christian Mahogany. You could have taken him in the 3rd round, and I'd have been like, that's a good pick. Christian Mahogany in the 3rd round is solid value. You could have taken him at the end of the 2nd round, and I'd have hardly batted an eye, honestly. Probably a little early for me, but 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, any there would have been great value. They get him in the 6th round, man. Unbelievable pick for them. I mean, maybe he's got injury question marks, but the talent is undeniable. The value there is unreal value for the Lions. He's getting up there in age, right? He decides, I think I'm done. I'm going to walk and call it a career. Christian Mahogany's ready to go. He could start very early in his career. He's ready to go. There's your backup guard for all of the interior. He can play anywhere on the interior offensive line and be a stud right away. Great pick. I cannot say enough about that pick. That was an awesome pick. I love the Lions draft. I don't know if you can get that or not. I really like the Lions draft, and I think that they took positions of need but didn't reach. I love Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw where they took them. I love their 6th-round value picks. Middle of the draft was kind of so that's why this is going to get an A- from me, because the middle rounds were kind of I didn't love them, but it was a very good draft. They're coming away with several players who will contribute for them right away, especially in the 2 corners. They recognize a weakness. We need defensive backs, and they went and took 2 very physical, very Detroit-like defensive backs. Love those picks. So A- for their draft. And this offseason's been trying to build on what they did last year and their awesome run to the NFC Championship game. Can they build on that? I don't know how you can look at this roster and not see improvement all over the place. They got rid of players who weren't playing well, and they brought in better players. Zeitler's an improvement. DJ Reader is a starting defensive tackle. Terrion Arnold will start at corner. Ennis Rakestraw will probably see the field a lot for them. They have just added talent everywhere. I think that they have really opened the gap up especially within the NFC North as a clear favorite to win that division going forward. I'd be shocked if they didn't win that division. And I think that they could make another postseason run. I really do. For their offseason moves, I'm giving them an A. I struggle to see things I would change for them. I don't see much. I love what they did. Maybe they paid Goff a little too much money with 53, but that's what it's going for. That is the cost of quarterback play right now in the NFL. If you do not come to terms with that, you're never going to have a good team unless you have someone on a rookie contract. Your only hope. Because quarterbacks that play well are getting $50+ million a year. It's just where we're at. Welcome to the world. So, Detroit Lions get an A for their offseason. Nice work, Detroit. I'm excited to see what you guys do this season. And that's all I've got for you guys in today's video. Let me know in the comments down below what you agree with, what you disagree with, and we'll see you guys in the next one.